really came out to play in Sun Belt matchups. They're second in scoring offense, right behind Marshall, who they beat last game, 81-76. Number one in scoring margin as we're just set to tip off. This Georgia Southern team is firing off all cylinders. It's Carlos Curry with the tip-off. We're underway. Jalen Finch bringing the ball up, the starting point guard for the Eagles. They'll throw it out to the wing for Archie, back to Finch. Archie out on the wing. Thought about a shot. Savrasov with the drive inside to his right, off the glass, but no good. Old Dominion on transitions. We take a look at our starting lineups. Mekhi Long, Chauncey Jenkins, Tyreek Scott Grayson, Ben Stanley, and Derico Williams. Tyreek Scott Grayson, the player to look out for, the leading scorer for this team, and had 31 points against Troy last game, so he's coming off one of his best nights. It's a nice strip on the defensive end for Georgia Southern. Take a look at our starting lineups for Georgia Southern now. Pretty much the same. Caden Archie, Jalen Finch, Ty Strickland, Carlos Curry, and Andre Savrasov. It's been a pretty consistent five, Cameron, for the Eagles. Not much has changed.
Not very much, and I feel like that is also another reason as to why Georgia Southern has found success. When you can find a consistent lineup that you can go to and keep, it's great for your team.
Here's Strickland driving baseline. He'll go off glass for two.
Nice drive there from Strickland, able to absorb the contact and get the tough layup to go.
Ty Strickland, the redshirt senior out of Tampa, Florida, the first 2 points of the game. Old Dominion on the other end. Chauncey Jenkins with the ball. Shake and bake, kicks it back out. Scott Grayson uses a screen from Stanley. Instead, kicks it back out. Good defense from Georgia Southern. Long will have to hoist one up with 1 to go.
Nice physical defense there from Georgia Southern, but he was just able to get that tough jump shot to go.
Well, it was great defense for 29 seconds, and then Long just pulled up for the mid-range jumper. Finch back with the ball for the Eagles, looking to respond. He'll drive inside to his right. A little post hook off the rim, no good. And the ball rattling around. It'll remain Georgia Southern possession. A couple of Monarchs flying on the ground for that. Cameron, early start about 2 minutes into this as we take a look at head coach Jeff Jones, 190-119 record. You know, he's been with this program for a while. What's the message to his team here today?
For his message, he wants to make sure that Old Dominion is physically and mentally prepared. They came off a tough loss against Troy Thursday evening, and so they want to correct that here.
Archie fires for three, no good. Almost lost it on the other end with the Monarchs, but it's Scott Grayson in transition. He'll kick it back out to Jenkins. Jenkins being guarded by Archie at the top. Handoff and good defense inside. Carlos Curry on the ground as well as Long, and now a jump ball call. So some chippiness here in Hanner to start this game as we take a look at head coach Brian Berg, who has really found success with this Eagles program this year, 36-35, third year with the program. Has to be proud of the way his team has played here this season, especially in Sun Belt Conference play.
Definitely. Non-conference play, it was a little shaky, but to see your team play well when it matters against conference opponents is very pleasing to see from a coach.
It'll be an inbound on the baseline for Monarchs. Pass inside to Derico Williams. He'll kick it out to Jenkins. Jenkins with a quick drive off the baseline, off the glass.
Good, strong drive there from Jenkins. Again, matching that physicality is going to be needed for Old Dominion here.
When we talked to head coach Jeff Jones about Jenkins, he said he's their most talented player. He's their best all-around player, very athletic, can score at all three levels. Savrasov backing down in the paint. He's coming off an 18-point performance, and he'll able to get it to go.
Nice post move there from Savrasov. He's also going to be a player that the Monarchs want to watch out for here today.
Andre Savrasov, Mr. Consistency here for the Eagles. He came along with Brian Berg when he made his trip to Statesboro, Georgia from Texas Tech. Savrasov has been a great addition to this Eagles team. It would drive inside by Jenkins. Jenkins too high off the glass, but an offensive rebound no good. Savrasov able to corral it. Strickland has numbers. Savrasov inside. Archie will put it up. And they'll call the foul. And one for Caden Archie. Georgia Southern up 6-4 in this first half. And a very tough finish, Cameron.
As you see, Archie taking that strong job, absorbing the contact. Grayson wasn't able to get his feet set. That led to the blocking foul. And Archie will go for his and one.
And this is exactly what we've seen from this Georgia Southern team all year long. I thought Archie would look inside for Savrasov, who had his man beat, but the aggression just to go straight to the cup and go up strong. That's the way the Eagles have played this season, as the free throw is good, counting a three-point play.
Being aggressive in basketball works almost 95% of the time. You're either going to get it to go or get fouled, and in that case, he got it both.
A couple of substitutions in this game. Emo Essien in for the Monarchs. Anthony McFadden will check in for Georgia Southern. Essien up top, Archie Garden. He'll kick it out to Jenkins. Jenkins uses a screen, and he'll take a mid-range jumper off the baseline. No good, but an offensive rebound for the Monarchs. Long back up with it. Got called for a foul on the way up. And that'll take us to our first media break here inside Hanner Fieldhouse. Georgia Southern up 7-4 with 15 minutes, 43.
Success as well as playing physical. That is something that they really have to do against this Monarch team, and we've already seen it so far. For Old Dominion, it's create opportunities, right? Keep Ty Strickland and Jalen Finch from getting down the lane and match their intensity. Back to you.
Definitely an aggressive game here today. I mentioned the offensive rebounding for both teams. Georgia Southern #1 in rebounding offense, but Old Dominion is right behind them at #2 as the free throw is good. So Cameron, both teams, they want to crash the glass on the offensive end. How do you slow that down?
For each team, they want to be able to be as physical as they can. More than likely, rebounds either result in wins or losses, and that's going to be a big factor.
We'll see how that fares out as Savrasov gets double-teamed in the post, able to get out of it. But good defense there and a steal by Essien. Essien on the break, off the back iron and rolls in. A quick turnover for the Monarchs leads to points. Something head coach Brian Berg really stressed to his team as we have to protect the basketball. But Jalen Finch, he kicks it out to the corner. Savrasov back up top to Moore. Entry pass inside to McFadden. Looking for somebody instead. He'll take it himself. Finch thinking about a three. He'll hoist it up. No good.
Old Dominion there. Great ball denial, which forced Georgia Southern to take a late contested shot in the shot clock.
Essien will try one for three off the mark. And almost an offensive rebound. Instead, Savrasov able to get it to Finch. They'll push the pace. Brown skip past to Moore. McFadden inside. A little post hook is good off the right hand.
Nice spin move there from McFadden. Able to get the post hook to go as he gives Georgia Southern an early lead.
And you're seeing both teams want to play inside out. They're really trying to drive and then kick. Neither team takes a lot of three-pointers. Essien has it on the wing. He'll be guarded by Moore up top. Stanley inside, got double-teamed, good defense. Finch out on the break. Savrasov with a Euro step off the right hand, no good, but a foul. The Georgia Southern back to the free throw line. So we take a look at the series history between the Eagles and the Monarchs. These two teams have faced each other a couple of times. This is the 19th meeting total. And Cameron, Old Dominion, 14-4 overall, so they've got the better of Georgia Southern most of the times that they play. But how does Georgia Southern try to get a win here today? Because they know this Old Dominion team will play aggressive, especially against Georgia Southern, as we see.
They have to make sure that everyone is getting a piece of the pie, everybody sharing the ball, and just continuing to play for one another. They haven't been able to get that many wins against Old Dominion, but they're going to have some chances here as Old Dominion is a new Sun Belt opponent.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, Old Dominion now in the Sun Belt Conference along with Marshall, Southern Miss, and James Madison. So Georgia Southern facing some new foes in conference play, hoping they can get the better of them. A deep shot for three, no good. Savrasov able to get it to Brown. Kamari Brown out in transition. Strickland in the post. He'll spin off and kick it out to Moore. Another drive inside, this time to McFadden. McFadden out to Brown. Savrasov skip pass to Strickland. Essien is on the ground, and the ball rolls in. And on the ground is Essien. Ty Strickland hit the three.
Off this crowd that they have here in Hanner, and just make sure that they can be more dominant than Old Dominion.
Well, you mentioned the crowd and the energy. This Georgia Southern team, they've had a good bit of home games. In the past month, they were able to stay at home for a good bit of the break. And, you know, that helps. Not having that travel, you're able to rest your players. You're also able to practice more and get that cohesiveness. So you're seeing that come to play right now here in Sun Belt Conference play specifically.
And especially considering when they had a tough travel schedule in the beginning of the season where they looked kind of sluggish, but being able to be well rested and being back at home, you've seen the difference.
Well, back here in play, Chauncey Jenkins has the ball at the logo. He's being guarded by Strickland. High, long, and entry pass inside to Ben Stanley, and Ben Stanley will get that one to go. 13-9, that's exactly what they needed, Cameron.
Stanley was able to get in the middle of that wall that Georgia Southern was trying to form, and that's why he got the good layup.
Tyron Moore has it now. He'll kick it out to Strickland. Strickland, good defense on the perimeter. Had to pick up his dribble, and that ball was tipped off of Monarch. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Georgia Southern has to hurry. Moore will hoist one up from way downtown. No good. Rebounded out to the Monarchs. Old Dominion trying to pick up the pace. Chauncey Jenkins, he'll take a three-pointer at the top of the key. Can't finish. Almost stolen away, and it will be. So some sloppy play for Georgia Southern after the rebound. Old Dominion with a second chance. That was Tyreek Scott Grayson on the move. Georgia Southern basketball. Another media timeout here inside Hanner Fieldhouse. Georgia Southern up 13.
That experience, that makes it easier for you to implement that culture because the players respect you more. They know what you're talking about, especially when you have not only experience on the college level, but you know people that have gone on to be in the professional level.
Trying to make the adjustments as they're down 4 against the Eagles. McFadden has it at the free throw line. Got stripped, but able to keep it. Looking for somebody. Finds Strickland. Mid-range jumper. Good.
And that's Strickland's sweet spot. He's always pulling up from that mid-range. You just know when he gets in that position, it's trouble for you.
Ty Strickland, another one of the transfers brought in here to Statesboro as a post hook is no good by Carr. And another offensive rebound, and rather that's Ben Stanley. Stanley off the mark on the second chance. And a tie-up for the rebound. Carlos Curry has it. Now we take a look at head coach Brian Berg. Was an assistant coach at Texas Tech, also chief of staff. A Joe B. Hall Award finalist back in 2020, 2021. Finally over the 500 mark at 36 and 35. And you want to talk about building a culture, finding success. This year within Sun Belt play, being 3-0, Coach Brian Berg seems like he has really gotten his team to buy into the process.
It seems like Brian Berg is finally getting that team to completely get to where they want to be. And they want to continue to keep that success here today and further on in conference play.
And Archie will get an and one inside with the contact. Georgia Southern with a big-time three-point play opportunity. We'll throw it down to Emily Grace McWhorter, who has more on Georgia Southern.
At the timeout, I was able to listen in on the huddle, and one of the things that the coaching staff is really stressing is continue to communicate and box out. Don't give them time. Another is be physical. We need to be the most physical team out there, and guys, I think we're seeing that.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at Old Dominion, they already have 3 offensive rebounds in this game. That is something they pride themselves on. Very physical, very aggressive inside the glass.
You want to be physical no matter what side of the ball that you're playing on, whether it's offense or defense. So getting those rebounds has been a big success.
Jenkins will drive inside, kicks out for 3. Instead, pump fake inside, good.
And you talked about Scott Grayson, earlier on in the open. He's going to be important here as he has 31 points that you said in the last game. They're going to look for him to continue to put in that scoring load.
We haven't been able to touch on him much, but as you mentioned, he had 31 points last game against Troy. He leads the Sun Belt in conference games with points as Saversov pulls up from mid-range off the back iron. Tyreek Scott Grayson is a game changer. He can really flip any game with his talent. And he has it now. He'll pass inside to Stanley. Stanley for two.
There you see on the pass possession, doing it on the scoring end. On this possession, doing it with his playmaking.
Dishing it out and also bringing Chauncey Jenkins into the starting lineup. You add that extra playmaker, so now Georgia Southern has to worry about two backcourt players that are very talented. And there it is right there. The scuffle. Saversov was trying to get the ball. Old Dominion players didn't like it. Saversov just smiling. And the refs will send their teams back to the court. Cameron, we knew this would be a chippy game. We knew it would be physical. Carlos Curry now getting into it with Dorico Williams. This is a Sun Belt technical foul called on Dorico Williams for Old Dominion. Free throws for Tyron Moore. And it was after Saversov went for the ball. You know, they saw that and saw extra contact that wasn't needed. So that was the call on the floor. Dorico Williams for the technical foul. Moore for the first free throw is good. Moore, one of the better free throw shooters in the Sun Belt. Best free throw shooter on Georgia Southern, shooting over 80%. He'll get another one at the line. He'll go 2 for 2. And those are big points, Cameron. I mean, with a game like this, every possession matters. And 2 free throws off a technical foul and the ball after, that's monumental.
That can be very important. And if the ending result comes down to a couple of points, you're going to have to look back at that moment and see that that may have cost you the game.
Do you expect play to be chippier, or maybe guys will settle down?
I think guys will settle down since it was a little bit aggressive since the start, but now that the refs have given out technicals and discipline, I think that it should listen.
Georgia Southern with the basketball. Ty Strickland has it in his hand. He'll use the screen from Curry. Drives inside, being double teamed, and throws it right over to the coach, Jeff Jones. We'll throw it down to Emily Grace McWhorter with an update on the game.
Thanks, David. I was able to speak to Georgia Southern's head athletic trainer, Brandy Boston, on how Emo Essien is doing for the Monarchs. And they said no change, really. They're just continuing to monitor him.
Thank you, EG. It was good to see Emo Essien back on his feet after he fell on the floor. There was no contact by any player. And Essien seems to be doing good. Ben Stanley has it in the post. Saversov guarding. He'll go up with his left. Count it with the foul. Another tough play. This time Old Dominion with the chance for a three-point play.
You see Ben Stanley making sure that he is assertive in the paint and making sure that he can get that post hook over the defender, as you see here, which led to a foul over Saversov.
Not an easy shot. Andre Saversov, very physical inside and very strong. Stanley still able to rise up over him. Old Dominion coming out in the half-court trap. Strickland having trouble, finally gets it to Finch. Now to the wing for Saversov, all the way out to Strickland. Old Dominion in a zone defense now. Got away from man, finds Archie inside, but blocked away by Faison Fields. Fields, a great interior defender, saw the shot from a mile away and able to block it.
You're seeing both teams be very competitive here. Both sides making sure that they play great defense, as it's not as high scoring. You can notice because of the defense. So they're going to continue to make sure they have a focus on that.
When we talked to Coach Brian Burke, he told us it's going to be a lot different than the Marshall game. These guys are going to slow it down. They want to play defense in the half court. As Caden Archie able to get his hands on the ball. Old Dominion, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Jenkins lost it, but they'll call a foul on Saversov with 4 seconds left. Crowd doesn't like it, and a very unneeded foul, especially with the shot clock draining down. So Georgia Southern and Old Dominion Eagles up by 3, 19-16. Ty Strickland with a couple hits in the first half. He's really been carrying this team on the offensive end. Who needs to step up for Old Dominion? Ben Stanley has 7, but Scott Grayson's been pretty quiet, as well as Chauncey Jenkins. Combined, they only have 4 points.
I would like to see Jenkins along with maybe Makai Long, as he got the first bucket earlier on, so I think he needs to find his rhythm.
Scott Grayson will look for his rhythm, but can't hit it off the glass. There's another offensive rebound, but this time no good by Stanley. So Finch out in transition. Moore will kick it out back to the corner. Deflected out of bounds. We saw Georgia Southern run up and down the court against Marshall, able to get an 81-76 win. But this game is a much slower pace. Georgia Southern having to find offense from the half court rather than transition.
And these are the type of games where you really find out how good you are. Scoring in the half court is much more difficult than just getting transition buckets.
Absolutely. Tyron Moore will find inside to Carlos Curry for 2.
Nice dump off pass there to Curry as he was able to get it over 2 defenders.
Curry, very tall and very long, standing at about 6'11", also has that wingspan. When he gets going, he can really wreak havoc. Old Dominion on the other end will draw a foul. There's Makai Long, as you mentioned. With the drive inside the lane, that'll be the 4th team foul on Georgia Southern. Old Dominion with 5.
And that's what I like to see there from Long as he makes that aggressive drive, and Carlos Curry had no other choice but to foul him, which sends him to the line.
Curry knew it as soon as he had the foul. You saw him just leave his hand up. He knew that the foul would be called on him as the first free throw was good. But Scott Grayson and Chauncey Jenkins, that has been the storyline. Georgia Southern has been able to slow them down in this first half. And it's a lot like the Marshall game. Tavion Kinsey, one of the best players in America for Marshall. Georgia Southern was able to limit him in the first half, but he really got it going. So we'll see how Scott Grayson as well as Jenkins find their rhythm and try to find some momentum as this half goes on.
And going against those dynamic scorers, as you just stated, it really shows how good your defense is. If you can disrupt them and get them out of their rhythm, you're doing your job.
Again, the half-court trap here for Old Dominion. Georgia Southern will kick it out to Saversov. Finch out to Moore. Moore for 3. High archer off the left side, but rebounded by Saversov.
Nice job for Saversov to sneak through the Monarchs and get that offensive rebound and getting the putback right after.
Then on the other end, Scott Grayson with a quick 3-pointer. So some back and forth picking up here in the first half.
Scott Grayson silencing the crowd for a moment as he continues to start where he's been leaving off at. Really leading the team here with 14 points.
He really needed that shot, Cameron. We mentioned he's been having trouble finding production on the offensive end, but now attacking. Thought about the turnaround. Instead, kicks it out to Stanley. Stanley for 3 is good. Old Dominion, some momentum and heating up here late in the first half with their first lead in the game, 24-23. Finch will kick it out to Saversov. Out to Brown. Brown a high archer, no good. Curry almost got the rebound, but they'll say Monarch basketball.
Here you see the Monarchs. They were able to get the past 2 threes to go, which has given them the lead. And they've gotten a spark here as they stopped Georgia Southern. And now they will get the possession again to try to push the lead.
Old Dominion on a 6-0 run over the past 46 seconds. Also, 5 of their last 7 field goals have been good. How do you pick it up if you're Georgia Southern and find some momentum again?
You have to make sure that you don't let those last 2 shots disrupt you and your game plan. You have to continue to stick to your game plan and show them that you are the better team.
The ball all the way around the horn. Finally finds Jenkins with a drive, kicks it out. And great passing from the Monarchs. Stanley will finally shoot it, but can't finish.
Beautiful ball movement there from the Monarchs, but you see Georgia Southern staying on their feet, not falling for pump fakes.
And they're going to call a moving screen on McFadden. McFadden doesn't like the call. He thought that it was clean. That's a big-time turnover. And Old Dominion, they are starting to shoot a lot from the perimeter and get those offensive rebounds.
As you see here, yeah, McFadden not able to get his feet set on the screen, which is why the ref called an illegal screen.
So a turnover for Georgia Southern. That's their 4th of the game. Driving side by Jenkins, blocked by Saversov. The Eagles have numbers. Kamari Brown out on the wing, jams it in. Raise the roof, Kamari Brown.
And that's exactly what Georgia Southern needed to get that momentum back. There you see a block from Saversov leading to an alley from Kamari Brown, and they have another turnover.
How about on the other end? They'll give it back to Brown, and instead of the dunk, he'll go up for the layup, and it was rebounded by the Eagles. Put back and in.
The momentum have shifted, and Old Dominion has to not get rattled themselves and try to take that momentum back from Georgia Southern that they once had.
I'll say this, a dunk is 2 points just like a layup is 2 points, but a dunk like that gets the crowd into it, and it definitely brings you some momentum. It's not just a flashy play. It really gets your team into it as well as the crowd. So the Monarchs looking to respond here as a strong drive inside by Mekhi Long, no good. But another foul on the Eagles. That'll put them at 6 and bring Old Dominion into the bonus. So they'll be at the free throw line for the rest of the half.
You're seeing both teams really taking advantage of the dribble drive. They're getting their defenders off balance, and they're going for layups.
First free throw is good by Long. 4 of 5 from the line before that free throw. Old Dominion, both teams have shot from the charity stripe fairly well here today. The Eagles 4 of 6. The second free throw up and in. And they're going to call another foul. Saversov just with his hands up. And we saw the chippiness earlier in the first half. It was Saversov trying to make a play. But the aggression continuing here inside Tanner Fieldhouse. Saversov just smiles the whole time. Doesn't seem to faze him.
Not at all. And DeMarco Williams has to make sure that he watches himself, as he already has one technical and one more will get him thrown out of this game.
That's very true. Dorico Williams had that technical foul earlier in the half. And as you mentioned, one more will have him ejected. Tyron Moore got double teamed. He'll kick it out to Finch. Finch crosses Saversov. All the way to Moore for 3. No good. It was by the logo, and somehow Kamari Brown almost came up with that rebound. Chauncey Jenkins on the other end. He'll pass inside to Stanley. Stanley with a strong move.
Stanley has really been imposing his will down there in the post, getting tough layups to go, spin moves, just using his post moves to his advantage.
That's 9 points on the game now for Ben Stanley, as Caden Archie will drive baseline, try to find Finch. They'll call a foul on the drive. That'll send us to immediate timeout. Georgia Southern up, or rather down 27-28. Kamari Brown with a flashy dunk in the first half. The game against Marshall, 2 today from beyond the arc. Georgia Southern really struggling, 1 of 6. They were able to heat up in the first half against Marshall, 3 of 5. How do they fix that, Cameron?
They want to make sure that they continue to first try to get buckets inside, which will lead to more wide open shots from the 3. You just have to continue to keep shooting, and you will eventually find your rhythm. But they also want to make sure they don't get too complacent, as missing 3s can also get you behind a lot.
That's exactly what Coach Brian Burke mentioned to us in the interview yesterday. He said, we got to drive and kick. We have to play inside-out basketball and try to score from the paint first. So Jalen Finch looking for a quick drive instead. Kicks it out to Archie. Archie step back, mid-range, pull up, good.
Nice patience there from Archie. You can tell he observed the floor, saw that he had a potential to get the shot, and he just did a quick dribble stop and pull up for the mid-range.
Archie with 7 points now in this game. You see Vince Stanley, 9 points. Mekhi Long with 7. We expected it to be Chauncey Jenkins and Tyreek Scott Grayson. But instead it's Stanley, and he'll drive it here with a beautiful left-handed post hook.
Again, Stanley keeping the Monarchs afloat with his physical post play.
And Stanley now in double digits with 11. Strickland inside to Brown, out to Archie. Archie all the way around the baseline, but they say he stepped out. That'll be the 5th turnover on the Eagles. Old Dominion only with 3. You can't have mistakes like that in this game, Cameron. Only a 1-point game. We expect it to be close the whole time.
This has a close game written all over it, down to the wire, in which it may come to 1 or 2 possessions. So keeping your possessions is going to be more important than anything.
Scott Grayson kicks it out to Jenkins. Cross-court pass all the way out to Ben Baker. Now Stanley, he'll pull up for mid-range, and that one's good. Ben Stanley, 13 points in the first half alone.
There you see Stanley not only getting it done in the paint, but also showing that he has a little bit of range on him as he gets the mid-range to go down.
The Eagles will slow things down here in the half court. Monarchs still sticking to that 3-2 zone. Finch with a nice drive, finds Brown for the dunk.
And I like what I've seen there from Finch. He was able to slow down and then drive and attack and use his playmaking ability, as he has all conference play with leading the Sun Belt in assist to turnover ratio.
Well, Finch has averaged at least 15 points a game in all 3 Sun Belt games. He's been very aggressive, but yet to score in this game as an air ball. Georgia Southern basketball. Jalen Finch, Coach Feinberg talked to me about him a couple weeks ago and said, look, I need him to be a leader. I need him to step up and be aggressive on the offensive end. We've seen that the past 3 games he's been.
Rightfully stated, and Georgia Southern has to make sure that not only do they have to shoot better from beyond the arc, but they have to be able to stop their leading scorers.
Scott Grayson and Jenkins haven't done much on the offensive end here today. As a great defensive play, Baker gets the steal. So Old Dominion out on the break. Baker will try for 3, no good off the front iron, but another offensive rebound. The pass inside, too much on it. That was for Faison Fields, couldn't handle the pass. Georgia Southern has to slow down this offensive rebounding attack from the Monarchs. They're now at 6 offensive rebounds in the first half.
And every rebound you have seen, it has been tipped around. There hasn't been many secure rebounds off the first shot. So they have to make sure that they are boxing out and being as aggressive as they can, but not fouling.
A chance to take the lead here. Strickland will try for 3. How about it? Ty Strickland now with 10 points in the game. He is 4 of 4 from the field.
Ty Strickland really keeping Georgia Southern in this game in the float.
30 seconds left in the first half. Stanley will kick it out to Jenkins. Jenkins runs right into his own player. Carlos Curry now guarding up top. Jenkins lost it. 4 seconds now. A drive inside. Archie contests, but another offensive rebound. Shot clock turned off. Old Dominion chance for the last possession. Archie guarding up top on Jenkins. He'll kick it out to Baker. Baker with a beautiful pass, but denied by Archie. The half-court shot for Strickland almost in. But what a way to end the half. Caden Archie with the denial, keeping the lead for Georgia Southern at 34-32. What great play to get those second chance points. So we'll see the adjustments each team makes here in this second half. Seconds away from the inbound. It'll be the same 5 that started. Ty Strickland, Jalen Finch, Carlos Curry, Caden Archie, and Andre Saversov. For Old Dominion, Chauncey Jenkins, Scott Grayson, Stanley, Derico Williams, and Mekhi Long. Saversov has it up top. He'll drive it inside to his right, but got stripped away. Old Dominion with a quick turnover to start this second half. It's exactly what you want if you're the Monarchs. Scott Grayson will make an entry pass to Stanley. Carlos Curry guarding. Stanley straight to his left hand. This time won't finish. And the Eagles out in transition. Caden Archie, Euro step finger roll off the left iron, but a foul called. And we'll throw it down to EG with a quick update on the away team, Old Dominion.
Thanks, David. I was able to talk to Coach Jeff Jones for Old Dominion about what his thoughts were on the first half, and he said it's actually not nearly as physical as the last 3 Sun Belt Conference games, which I thought was pretty interesting. And he said we also had a few good looks but need to finish, and we've made some mistakes that they made us pay for. Back to you.
How about that, Cameron? I mean, I felt like this has been a pretty physical and chippy game, but you know, that just shows you the difference in Sun Belt play, how chippy it really is. Night in and night out, you have to be ready. Your body has to be prepared because it's a very physical game. As Caden Archie will go 0 for 2 from the free throw line.
The Sun Belt, as you just said, is very competitive, so you have to make sure that you are ready and willing to play and sacrifice every single night.
Scott Grayson has it. Haven't heard much of him in the first half. He'll get it to Stanley. Stanley no good. Rebounded to Finch. Finch looking up ahead, gets it inside to Curry. Curry backing down Stanley. A little right hook.
You talked about in the first half, Stanley imposing his will in the paint post area. Here we see Carlos Curry doing the same thing for Georgia Southern as he was able to make his decision and get the post hook over Stanley and get it in.
Good sign for the Eagles to get it inside, specifically on Stanley, who had such a great first half. So Chauncey Jenkins directing traffic. A beautiful move. Oh, my goodness. Jenkins rose up over everybody with the right-hand slam.
There's that athleticism that Coach Jones was talking about when talking about Jenkins. They're going to need that in this second half if they want to win.
And Cameron, when I saw Jenkins on the floor, he looks identical to Ja Morant, and that was a Ja Morant-esque play right there. Wow. So Georgia Southern lead to 2. Caden Archie finds Finch in the corner. Kicks out to Saversov. Pump fake, steps inside. Off the front iron. Scott Grayson, he'll give it to Jenkins. Jenkins with a drive inside. Somehow finds Derico Williams, but stripped away. Strickland tried to tap it out, but Old Dominion keeps it. A hectic pace as a three-pointer's no good from the corner. And a battle for the basketball. Hit off Strickland's leg. They'll say Monarch possession. And Cameron, frantic pace there the last couple of possessions. You mentioned it earlier, a lot of tips for offensive rebounds for Old Dominion.
And as I stated, Georgia Southern wants to make sure that they can listen that as the game goes along, or they're going to be in trouble.
Saversov went for the steal. Scott Grayson makes a nice move and skips it out to Jenkins. Jenkins will try for 3, good.
And Georgia Southern better watch out here. Jenkins has gotten his last 2 shots to go, which are game changers with a dunk and a three-pointer, so they want to be careful and make sure that he doesn't get hot.
Don't want to let Jenkins heat up in this game as Curry able to corral the pass, but deflected and stolen away. They have numbers for the Monarchs. Scott Grayson inside to Stanley. Stanley with the left hand rattles in.
Stanley going back to work in the paint, in which he was doing in the first half, as Old Dominion has taken a 3-point lead and forces Georgia Southern to take a timeout.
Coach Brian Berg doesn't like what he's seen, so he'll call a timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout with him. Georgia Southern down by 3, but what a dunk by Chauncey Jenkins. 15 points, 7 of 12 shooting. Strickland, 4 of 4, perfect from the field with 10 points. What have you seen?
Both players really setting the tone for their team, which is why we have a close matchup here tonight.
We're back in action here, second half, 16 to go. Archie has it on the wing. Finch at the top of the key surveying traffic. He'll give it to Curry. Curry will pull up by the free throw line off the front rim. Old Dominion taking control of this game, up by 3. Chauncey Jenkins with that thunderous slam before the break. A nice pass inside, denied by Curry. Carlos Curry using his length to his advantage, and that's against Derico Williams, who's also very tall, with long arms, able to extend. What a block.
Those things can be momentum changers, and that is exactly what Georgia Southern needs right now. Right now, the crowd has been taken out of it a bit. Georgia Southern needs to make sure that they can get this crowd to get that energy so they can feed off of them.
And Kamari Brown will check in for Ty Strickland. Curry also back to the bench. Scott Grayson inbounding from the baseline. Williams being guarded by Savrasov. A tussle for it on the floor. And they're going to call a foul on Savrasov. And we've seen a couple of those in this game where Savrasov trying to get the loose ball goes Old Dominion's way, but you have to at least like the hustle if you're Coach Brian Berg.
Definitely. If you're not hustling and doing everything that you can to help your team, you don't need to be out there on the floor, and that's exactly what Andre Savrasov is doing.
So Georgia Southern looking for answers down by 3. They've been able to slow down Scott Grayson to only 5 points so far in this game. But Jenkins is starting to heat up. He's got the ball in his hands with 7 points. Mid-range jumper now for Scott Grayson with the foul.
Great shot there from Scott Grayson. As soon as you call him out, he comes out and makes a big play for Old Dominion as he gets the mid-range to go +1. As you see right here, he gets Caden Archie with the fake. Jonathan McFadden just coming a little too close on the closeout, which is why he is at the line right now.
Great pump fake by Scott Grayson, and that's scary. Whenever you get Jenkins and Scott Grayson both involved at the same time, this Old Dominion team is light years better because both of them very talented players. Georgia Southern down by 6. Really need a response here. Finch will kick it to Brown. Brown drives to his left all the way around. No good, but a foul called. So Georgia Southern down by 6 with a media timeout on the floor. Looking for some momentum. Old Dominion.
Us, not them. And David, in a game like this, Sun Belt Conference, a physical team like Old Dominion, it's really easy to respond to what they're doing instead of doing what you've practiced. And I think that's what Georgia Southern, their goal will be in the next 15 minutes, is to do what they've been doing these last 3 conference games and not just respond, but play how they've been playing.
Absolutely. And Cameron, just like EG mentioned, Georgia Southern seems like they've gotten a little out of rhythm here early in the second half. How do they slow things back down and try to cut into this lead?
They have to get back to what they were doing in the first half. These free throws here by Kamari Brown can be very critical to them finding that consistency and that rhythm again.
Brown knocks down the first free throw. Georgia Southern still shooting over 50% from the field as Brown goes 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. They're 15 of 29. The difference has been the offensive rebounds. Old Dominion with 8. Georgia Southern only with 3. Scott Grayson will slow things down. Him and Jenkins in the backcourt. Stanley has it in the corner. He'll pass it back out to Scott. Scott Grayson drives inside to his left, high off the glass. And they'll call a foul after the shot. Caden Archie can't believe it. He thought that it was clean. And that was already a tough shot, Cameron. Didn't seem like it needed to be a foul.
There you see Archie trying to box out, but just clipping Old Dominion, and that's why they are going to keep the possession.
Goes right back to the offensive rebounds, but a bad pass there, and Georgia Southern out on the break. Archie has it, and he'll have an easy layup for 2.
Great defense there from McFadden, being very disruptive there on the inbound, which led to the fast break layup from Archie.
It's only the 5th turnover by the Monarchs. Stanley will pass it out to Scott Grayson. Williams sets the screen. Scott Grayson looks inside to Stanley. Stanley goes up to the left hand. No good, but another rebound for the Monarchs, plus the foul.
The Monarchs with another offensive rebound, and they have definitely been more aggressive earlier on in this second half. Gets the tough rebound, goes up with the contact, and the foul is on McFadden.
And this time it was Derico Williams, or rather Faison Fields, with the rebound. That's his 4th rebound of the game, and also his first points. Fields able to add to the offensive rebounding onslaught that Old Dominion has had. I mentioned it multiple times, but Georgia Southern, they have to find a way to slow down the bigs of Old Dominion and Fields and Williams, and as well as Stanley. the three-point play is good. And Cameron, how do you do that? We've asked that a couple of times in this broadcast, but it seems like whenever they slow down Williams, somebody like Fields is getting going.
They need to throw bodies in the inside of the paint. Yes, you may not want them to get perimeter shots, but they haven't had that many perimeter shots to go down. So they want to make sure that they have everyone buying in to securing a rebound.
Moore will think about a perimeter shot. Instead, kicks it to Finch. Finch back to Moore. He'll try for three. Off the back rim, rebounded by Jenkins. Jenkins will reset, kicks it out to Scott Grayson. Fields is open off the screen. Curry comes to help. Shot from the corner off the front iron. Georgia Southern with a timely stop. Jalen Finch, give it to Moore. Monarchs still in the zone. Sabrasov has it. He'll skip it to Finch. Shot clock winding down. Finch finds Sabrasov from the corner for three. Yes.
Great play there by Jalen Finch as he was able to turn down his shot in order to get it to Sabrasov, and Georgia Southern really needed that three.
3 of 9 from three-point land now are the Eagles. Sabrasov guarding up top against Jenkins. Great perimeter defense. Stanley has it by the free throw line. Little turnaround post shot's good. Stanley with a great response after that three-pointer by Georgia Southern. Some momentum felt like it was turning the Eagles' way. Sabrasov thought about trying again. Instead, back out to Finch. Finch drive to his right, kick out to Moore. Moore an open three-pointer off the dribble.
Another timely three made by Georgia Southern as they have the momentum right now, and it's on Old Dominion to try to silence the crowd as they did the previous possession.
We talked about the three-point shooting woes for both teams, but the Eagles have woken up on the perimeter. They're now 4 of 10. Count it with the foul. Ben Stanley, again, responding to an Eagle three-pointer. This one with a chance for a three-point play. That'll be the 5th team foul on the Eagles. One more puts Old Dominion in the bonus.
Again, right when Georgia Southern is questioning Old Dominion's ability to push this lead forward, Stanley answers, and he gets the and one to go. And he will look to convert his and one, excuse me.
Free throws are big. Georgia Southern 6 of 10 from the line. Old Dominion's only missed one. They're 8 of 9. Stanley already with 19 points in this game. Can't hit for a three-point play. And they're going to call a foul on Faison Fields, excuse me. As Carlos Curry corralled the rebound. So Dorico Williams will check in for Fields. You see Curry talking to the referee. They need Curry big time, Cameron, with the offensive rebounding that Old Dominion has. And just their aggression on the glass in general, you have to expect Coach Berg to bring in his bigs a lot more.
They're going to need Curry to secure those rebounds, as if they need to make sure that if they get those rebounds, they have more possessions.
Tried to look inside to Curry, but a steal for the Monarchs. It'll be the 9th turnover in the game for the Eagles. Jenkins will pull up for the floater. Why not?
You see some miscommunication there from Georgia Southern as they weren't able to get their defense completely set, and Jenkins took for Long.
Almost stolen away there by Long. Archie tries to find his way inside. A foul called on Long. An immediate timeout on the floor. Georgia Southern down by 5, 51-46. But a couple of three-pointers on the perimeter have Georgia Southern knocking on the footsteps of Old Dominion's door. We'll be back after the media timeout on ESPN+.
I'm a screen-addicted tween, and if I'm not posting on
social media,
Southern's trying to understand Old Dominion and the offense that they've been playing. So we take a look at the away schedule for Old Dominion. Facing Coastal Carolina, Marshall, Georgia State, App State, and South Alabama. So getting into Sun Belt play, a lot of tough matchups for Old Dominion. How do they keep the momentum up after this game? Because it gets tiring as you start to get deeper into that schedule.
This game is very important for that exact reason. Old Dominion has to make sure that if they can be successful and take away a win here in Statesboro from Georgia Southern, that they can beat anybody in the Sun Belt.
Ty Strickland shooting 2 at the line after the foul called. Both teams at 5 team fouls. First one's good. Monarchs have hit 3 of their last 3 from the field. Georgia Southern is shooting 55% from the field, which is a very, very high number. Strickland knocks down the second, but still down in this game by 3.
And that just shows how competitive Old Dominion has been here. Shooting 55%, if you walked up to somebody will automatically think that that team is going to win. But when you're also facing against a good team who shoots well, it's a toss-up.
What a testament to this Monarchs program and the way they fight. Coach Jones yelling at his team, saw something. Scott Grayson will try a step back, air ball, rebounded. Shot clock goes to 0. So a good offensive rebound by Old Dominion, but just not enough time on the shot clock.
And besides giving up that offensive rebound, Georgia Southern had one of the best defensive possessions that they have strung along in this second half.
I think that's the big thing. The Eagles have played pretty solid on the defensive end, but it's those second chance points and the offensive rebounds that have really led to Old Dominion's lead and success. Strickland, Finch, Archie, Saversov, and Moore on the floor. Finch will take it at the wing. Saversov handoff to Strickland. Strickland being guarded up top, drives to his left, but blocked. They'll say it was out of bounds after the blocked shot, but great team defense by the Monarchs to help on the Strickland drive.
Doing a good job of making sure that Strickland isn't getting whatever he wants. You want to make sure that they have to earn those baskets, and thankfully it was a foul to give for Old Dominion as no free throws will be shot.
Georgia Southern inbound. Strickland has it. He'll pull up for a quick mid-range jumper off the left-hand side. And an offensive foul called on Saversov, trying to get positioning inside. That'll be the 6th team foul for the Eagles.
And Saversov there, the only Eagle in the paint to get the rebound, just 2 outnumbered.
At the halfway mark here in the second half. Jenkins kicks out to Scott Grayson. Back to Jenkins. Shot for 3. No good. Saversov there to corral it. So finally a rebound by Georgia Southern after the stop. Finch on the other end will drive inside. Kick it out to Strickland. Strickland had the chance for 3. Instead, all the way around the horn. Moore drives, floater off the glass. Count it with the foul. Beautiful ball movement. Georgia Southern passing it all the way around. Actually had a couple of opportunities to shoot it, but the patience, Cameron, Moore finally able to finish.
And that just shows trust in your teammates. As you see Tyron Moore getting pushed in the back, but the layup is good. And that shows the patience that Georgia Southern had on that possession there. Ty Strickland and Jalen Finch had opportunities to shoot a perimeter shot, but they elected to pass it on, and that's why Tyron Moore is going to take this and 1 free throw.
Also a great call there by the referee. You saw the feet slide just a little bit and just enough from Fields for it to be a foul. So Carlos Curry checks into the game for Andre Saversov. Georgia Southern out in a full court press. Jenkins with it at the logo. Eagles also switching to his own. Scott Grayson had a chance for a 3. Instead, it's Baker. Good pass inside to Long. Long pulls up.
Good patience there from Jenkins as The cover got cornered, but Long was right there in the middle of the free throw line area, and he got the mid-range.
Georgia Southern doesn't zone much, but they like to sprinkle it into their defensive game plan. As a nice defensive play by Baker. It was called a foul. But going back to Georgia Southern, they sprinkle in that zone defense just a little bit, just to throw offenses off. But Old Dominion was not caught off guard. Clearly, they were ready for that and prepped for it. Georgia Southern has a chance to tie it at the free throw line. Carlos Curry, 4 points on the game, 1 rebound. First free throw, no good, off the front iron. And look who's back into the game, Ben Stanley. Stanley had an impressive first half for Old Dominion, leading them in points. Checks back into this game. It's Carlos Curry, no good, or rather good. And the second free throw rattled out and in. So now a 1 point game here in Hanner. Georgia Southern sticking with the 2-3 zone. Long kicks it back out to Scott Grayson. Pass to the wing for Jenkins. Jenkins finds Stanley. Shot clock down to 1. Jenkins hoisted up off the back iron, but rebounded by Fields. Old Dominion slowing down the pace. Ben Stanley will pass inside for Long. Long drives in on Curry. A beautiful spin with the foul. Old Dominion has come alive on the offensive end. What a finish by Mekhi Long.
The rebounds are really killing Georgia Southern here. Another offensive rebound, as you see Long with the great move, get smacked in the face, but still doesn't affect him. And he's going to the line to try to convert the and one.
Still able to finish through the contact. That is the 12th offensive rebound for the Monarchs in this game. Georgia Southern only with 4. So can't finish the three-point play. Still a one-possession ball game. Monarchs in the zone as well. Strickland thought about a 3. Finch, quick drive, kicks it out to Strickland. Strickland will pull up for a 3. Oh, no good. He wanted that one, Cameron. Was jumping up and down. Wanted that one back.
Looked like it could have been good, but just a bit short.
And how about the move on the other end by Jenkins with the Euro step. Back to the free throw line. A chance to make this a 5-point ball game. Old Dominion, they're switching up the pace. Slowing it down sometimes, but then speeding it up.
In this second half, Old Dominion has found a hole in Georgia Southern's defense almost every single possession. And it's led to them getting tough layups, attempts, and getting fouled.
With Jenkins at the line for 2. Crowd and Hanner getting loud. The first free throw off the mark. Now 8 of 12 from the charity stripe are the Monarchs. And Cameron, if you're Georgia Southern, how do you respond?
You have to make sure that you don't let none of this get to you. You have to think about the circumstances. You're on your home court, so you have to make sure that you can answer whatever Old Dominion is throwing at you.
Coach Berg will bring in Tyron Moore and Saversov, hoping they can be the answer. Down by 4. Finch will check out as well as Archie. A 3-point shot was starting to look good for the Eagles. They were able to hit 2 earlier in the second half.
That is also going to be something that Georgia Southern want to make sure that they can get going, as that can play a big difference in this game.
Kickball violation. Another media timeout here in Hanner. Old Dominion with a 4-point lead, 56-52. Georgia Southern hoping to find some momentum after the break and cut into this lead on ESPN+.
When you buy 10 tickets
with 3 conference wins, and then obviously the in-state rival Georgia State. That will be played at home in Hanner Fieldhouse, and then finishing it off with Texas State. Cameron, what's the game that stands out to you?
The game that stands out to me besides Georgia State is going to be James Madison. I really want to see how they are going to respond being on the road, playing against another great team and an unfamiliar Sun Belt opponent.
With those new additions to the Sun Belt, Strickland takes a hard fall to the ground. You know, that creates more competition, but also you're unfamiliar with a lot of the new players, with the teams and the structures. You know, and I asked the coaches, and they said, you can watch as much film as you want, but until you play them in person, you don't know. So that's just part of it. You have to learn as you play these new teams. Strickland off the mark on the 1-and-1. But Georgia Southern facing a new foe in Old Dominion right now, down by 4. Chauncey Jenkins and Saversov stole it away. Jenkins looking to pass it along instead. A goaltending call on. And rather, there will be a goaltending call. Mekhi Long was the one Jenkins was trying to pass to. Saversov stepped into the passing lane. And boy, was that a big one for the Eagles.
Great read there by Saversov as he was able to get off, turning defense into offense. And now he has pulled Georgia Southern within 2.
8th turnover of the game for the Monarchs. Jenkins with a hard drive to his right, kicks it out to Scott Grayson. He's open for 3, no good, rebounded to Saversov. Eagles pushing up the tempo, Moore will try. And there it is, Georgia Southern has regained the lead here in Statesboro, Georgia, 57-56. Cameron, we talked about the three-point struggles from...
Guys, this place is known for being one of the toughest places to play in the Sun Belt Conference, and honestly, Coach Berg loves it.
Cameron, how has this crowd played into Georgia Southern's late run here up by 1?
Amazing crowd is already a big confidence booster for you, but you definitely need that in late game situations. And Georgia Southern is going to continue to feed off this crowd's energy to try to secure them a win.
Now in the corner for Scott Grayson. He's being guarded by Moore. Drive at the baseline. He tried to shoot it over the backboard. There'll be a foul called. No free throws for the Monarchs. What an attempt by Scott Grayson, doing whatever he can. Georgia Southern, that is their 9th team foul as well.
Georgia Southern has to make sure, along with the rebound, and as you see, Scott Grayson, very aggressive move, the bump from Moore, and it led the ref no choice but to call a foul.
Scott Grayson stepped out of bounds, so the question, if you're an Eagles fan, is was there a foul before or after he stepped out? Nonetheless, it'll be a missed free throw from Scott Grayson, and it's not a 1-and-1. And Strickland eager to get the rebound.
As you see here, exactly what you were saying, David. He did step out. It looks like the foul and the out of bounds may have happened at the same time, which may be the reason why the ref elected to go with the foul instead of the turnover.
And the Monarchs notching things up at 57 with 6 minutes to go. Boy, do we have a ball game. Georgia Southern was able to regain the lead before the free throw from Scott Grayson. Strickland kicks it out to Brown. Brown driving left-hand side, gets his own rebound. Foul called. And they're going to say it was interference because the goal actually moved when Kamari Brown went up for it, and the basket will be good.
There you see here Kamari Brown's second effort, and that's exactly right. He affects the net, which may have affected if the shot have went in or not, which is why a goaltending call was called.
Well, Fields actually jumped up, and you saw his hand touch the rim, so that is a basket interference. 2 points for Georgia Southern. Jenkins has Saversov guarding. Brown now switches on. A nice spin move, kick out to the corner. Scott Grayson, good. Big-time three-pointer for the Monarchs. Lead now back to the Monarchs with 1.
You see Jenkins was forced under pressure there by Kamari Brown, but he didn't panic. Gave it to Scott Grayson, who was the open man.
And Moore will try one from way downtown. Can't finish. Scott Grayson gets the rebound. Jenkins looking to attack here. Over Saversov off the glass. Strickland has it on the wing. The Eagles looking to respond. Saversov from the corner for three, no good. That was to tie it up. Long, nice pass back to Fields. Stolen away. Georgia Southern has numbers. It's Moore. He'll kick it out to Finch, but a foul called on Chauncey Jenkins. And honestly, probably the right foul there as Georgia Southern, it was a 3-on-1.
And these last 5 minutes with both teams being in the bonus is going to be very important to see which team can drive and put more pressure on the defense to make them foul them and give them free points.
How important are free throws right now, Cameron? Game down to the wire, less than 5 to go. No more at the charity stripe for two. The first one is good. Eagles now trailing by 2 points. Jalen Finch getting ready to check in for the Eagles. Georgia Southern 11 of 17 from the line. Make that 11 of 18 as Moore can't finish off the second free throw. So 4:46 remaining. Old Dominion up 2. Screen by Williams. Jenkins drives to his left, has Moore guarding, a little floater over him, and good rebound by Saversov. A chance to respond here for the Eagles. Kamari Brown is wide open, or rather Caden Archie, but he couldn't finish off the lob pass.
Looked like the lob pass floated in the air just a little bit too long, and it was there for the Monarchs to take advantage of that and get the block.
Crucial defensive sequence here for the Eagles. Scott Grayson has it. Drives to his left. Almost stepped out of bounds. Instead kicks it to Williams. Williams over Saversov, no good. Tipped off of the Monarchs. So Georgia Southern will have possession, down by 2, 62-60. Looking to adjust after.
The adjustment starts on the defensive end, and it's not as much so stopping them from getting their shots. It's about securing the rebounds when they miss shots.
We've talked about it throughout the broadcast. The initial defense by the Eagles has been solid. It's just been their inability to get those rebounds after the missed shot. So back underway here. Finch checks into the game. It'll be Finch, Saversov, Brown, McFadden, and Archie on the floor for the Eagles. Archie drive inside, pro hop, patiently waiting, can't finish. Curry was there for the rebound, but instead Mekhi Long secures it.
Beautiful move there from Archie, but he just couldn't get it to go down. And McFadden was in position to get the offensive rebound, but he looked to have mistimed his jump.
Georgia Southern needs a stop here on defense. Jenkins driving on Saversov. Kicks it out to Scott Grayson for three, off the mark. And Brown is there for the rebound, but flipped over Derico Williams. And we'll see what the call is. And they're going to call Kamari Brown on the foul. Get another look at
the replay. It looks like Kamari had sole possession with more possession of the rebound, and it looked like Williams dragged him to the floor. But as you can hear from the Hanner crowd, they don't agree with the call, and I don't either.
It did look like Brown did have possession of the ball first, and then Williams tried to strip it away, sending Brown to fly over. Nonetheless, first free throw good by Williams. 3-point lead now for the Monarchs. Second free throw good by Williams. And Georgia Southern down by 4, Cameron. What do they need to do here on this offensive possession?
They need to make sure that they can get a great timely shot. Try to drive and then kick, or just try to be aggressive and try to get fouled as you're in the bonus.
And who are you looking to go to here?
As I'm looking to go here, I'm looking for Archie. He's been kind of quiet this second half, but he did provide so much in the first half. So I look for him to try to pick that aggressiveness up. Since the game plan has changed.
No kick to the corner. Now Archie back with it. And the ball moving around on a string. Moore thought about a three. Instead, he'll give it back. Archie back to Moore. Straight to Brown. Brown to Finch for three. No good. Saversov there for the rebound, though. Kamari Brown inside. No foul called, but two. Tough finish there for Brown. He was in the air for a while, absorbed the contact, and honestly surprised no foul called. Stanley inside. Saversov comes over to help and rejects it. Georgia Southern with a big-time stop. Open shot for Archie in the corner for three. Give him the lead. Georgia Southern has taken control with the momentum right at 2 minutes to go. A big-time three-pointer there.
It all started on the defensive end with Saversov again getting a great momentum-changing block, which led to the wide-open three from Caden Archie.
Finch guarding up top on Jenkins. Jenkins trips with Finch guarding, and they're going to call another foul. Crowd does not like it here in Hanner. It's going to be two free throws, and these are big ones, Cameron, for Chauncey Jenkins.
Then here you see the foul here, Jalen Finch being aggressive, and it looks like Jenkins just flops down there. I feel like as a ref, you can't call that in a close game like this.
And that's always a tough call because whenever that offensive player falls, sometimes the ref doesn't have the greatest angle, and sometimes it's safe to assume that the defender might have accidentally tripped him. Two big ones here for Jenkins. He's got 10 points in the second half. The game is tied with 1:40 to go. Chance to take the lead here for the Monarchs. So a timeout called here on the floor by Old Dominion. A very big free throw awaiting, Cameron, for both sides. What is the message here in the huddle? For Old Dominion teams, they're familiar with close games just like this in Sun Belt play, and we'll see how they respond. The chance for the lead here by Chauncey Jenkins, 66% free throw shooter, and it's good. For the Monarchs up 66-65, a minute and 40 remaining. Monarchs back out to a 2-3 zone, or rather a 3-2 zone. Pass inside to Brown. Brown finds Finch in the corner. Finch can't hit. Brown was there for the rebound but couldn't corral it.
Good patience there from Georgia Southern, able to get a good shot but just not able to knock it down. But they can't let that disturb them. They need to get a stop here.
This might be the biggest possession of the game. Finch guarding up top on Jenkins. Now Scott Grayson with it. He'll drive to his left. Saversov, great defense. Rebounded to Finch. Georgia Southern has two timeouts. They're choosing to run. Archie with a spin. No foul called. Absorbs the contact and one. That might have been the play of the game here in Hanner, Cameron. Coach Berg decides not to call a timeout, and Caden Archie with a tough finish for two.
And that's what happens. You trust your players and you get rewarded for it. There you see a no call, good aggressive contact, hanging in the air, keeping his shooting form, and that's why he's going to the line to try to convert this and one as Georgia Southern takes a 1-point lead.
It wasn't bad defense there by Fields, but Archie and his ability to stay in the air just long enough to absorb the contact and still get the shot off gives Georgia Southern the lead, a chance to make it a 2-point lead. Archie, 65% free throw shooter on the season. And he misses it.
Tough miss there from Georgia Southern, but they got to get back and get down.
.30 seconds remaining. Step back jumper, no good by Jenkins, but Fields is there for the rebound. gets his own miss again. Old Dominion takes the lead. So Georgia Southern has 2 timeouts, and they'll use it. What a play there by Faison Fields. He got the offensive rebound, missed it, got another offensive rebound, and put it back up. Can't do. Eagles also still have 1 timeout remaining. 15 lead changes in this game and 6 ties. It has been back and forth. Both teams with swings of momentum. So here we go. 17 seconds left. Finch has it up top. Moore kicks it out of the corner. Brown will try a 3 from the corner. No good. Rebounded to the Monarchs. Brown gets the quick foul on Scott Grayson. And they're going to review this now for a potential flagrant foul. The missed shot from the corner, Cameron. And then now the foul that could potentially be more free throws for Old Dominion.
There you see Georgia Southern being very patient. Got a great shot there, but just not able to get it down. Not the best release that you would want to have on that shot. I don't think I would. I will let the play set up, give Jalen Finch the ball, let him decide and decipher and be the playmaker that he has been so far in conference play, and try to get a great play off to get you a 3 to tie this game.
8 seconds left. 2 big free throws here for Scott Grayson. The first one is clean. He's shooting 68% on the season. Chance to extend this lead to 3. Second free throw, no good off the front iron. Almost rebounded by Old Dominion. 5 seconds left. Georgia Southern not going to call a timeout. Finch drives to the hole and a foul called. It'll be 2 free throws at the line for the Eagles. And Cameron, how about this? We have talked about it. Free throws are important. These are no doubt the biggest 2 free throws of the game.
Free throws, free throws, free throws. They are very much needed to keep you in games and win games. And these are going to be the 2 most important free throws of the season so far for Jalen Finch.
No Finch at the line here. He has been very good offensively the past 3 games, but he's yet to score. Yet to score in this game. Stepping up to the line for 2 free throws. He had a great game against Marshall with 17, 7 of 12 from the field.
Jalen Finch hasn't been able to get it going here today at all, but these 2 free throws can be the 2 most important points in this game.
Shooting 73% on the season. Might be the biggest 2 free throws of his career. Now the game clock going to be reset. They're going to add some time, 2.4. So even if Finch does hit both of these free throws, that's enough time for Old Dominion. First free throw for Finch is good. 68-69. Georgia Southern. 1 free throw left here, and they can tie it. Georgia Southern will bring Ty Strickland in the game for Tyron Moore. And likely the game here with this free throw, Jalen Finch at the line. The free throw is good. Jalen Finch, scoreless in this game, Cameron, and just walked up to the line and hit 2, what might have been the biggest free throws of his career.
And that is exactly what you need. You need your players to be tough mentally.
Mekhi Long, the inbounder. Ben Stanley on the floor with Chauncey Jenkins, Baker and Scott Grayson. Inbound into Jenkins. Jenkins has to get it up. Able to get the shot off. And no foul called. So we are going into overtime. Georgia Southern somehow gets it back to 69 apiece. We'll be back after the break for overtime here on ESPN. Trace McWhorter has more on Coach Berg.
How exciting is this game we have here in Hanner? Coach Berg was just telling his team, do not overthink it in this overtime. And guys, it's going to come down to the rebound battle. Back to you.
Here we go. 5 minutes remaining in the game. Finch has it up top. We'll kick it out to Brown. Brown finds Strickland. Back out to Strickland. Drives inside. Able to pass it down to Savrasov, who's corralled by 2 defenders and blocked. Great defensive possession there by the Monarchs.
Great defense. Denying Savrasov. Very physical play. Could have been a call, but no call. They're letting them play, and Old Dominion is going to try to take the lead.
And Ben Stanley has it. Guarded by Finch. Straight to the cup, but another offensive rebound. This time it was Dorico Williams. Scott Grayson shaking up on the play. As Jenkins drives inside over Finch. A charging foul called. Big time defensive stop for Georgia Southern. And what a game, Cameron. 15 lead changes, 7 ties. And this is actually the first time that both of these teams have gone to overtime this season. I mean, what a way to set the stage for Sun Belt Conference games.
And what a way to have your first game against each other with you being in the same conference.
Now, both teams hoping to pull out a win here today. Strickland, Finch, Archie, Savrasov, and Moore on the floor. Moore has it in the corner, hoist up a 3, no good. Chauncey Jenkins bringing the ball back up. Jenkins 14, 7, and 6 on the day. Stanley gets it to Mekhi Long. Long will give it to Williams. Williams almost passed it to the out of bounds. Instead, Scott Grayson rather saves it. He'll pull up for 3. Good. What a three-pointer there, Cameron.
What a play there from Scott Grayson. The leading scorer coming into this game, and when you're in a overtime battle, no matter how the first 4 quarters have went, you're going to look towards some of your best players to try to prepare you to win.
Old Dominion in the zone. Strickland will take a mid-range jumper. No good, but Archie there to clean it up. Archie has been impressive all game. 16 points now. Had that big and one. Now the offensive rebound. Long with it on the wing. Jenkins drives to his right. Pulls up with a mid-range jumper. No good. Savrasov there.
There you see great closeout defense there from Savrasov, and Georgia Southern will look to try to take the lead on this much-needed possession.
Strickland had a chance for 3. Now back to Strickland. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Finch will drive inside. Gets it to Strickland, who makes a beautiful fake, absorbs the contact, but no good on the layup. Nice move there, but just couldn't finish through the contact.
Strickland with a good pump fake, dribble drive, but just hung on the rim.
And Scott Grayson has the ball. He had a clutch three-pointer. They give the Monarchs the lead in overtime. Been guarded by Archie. He'll drive to his left, somehow gets around him and puts it up for 2. 74-71, a minute and a half remaining.
Scott Grayson here looking to take over this overtime period, and he has done just that with the last 5 points for Old Dominion.
It is go time here for the Eagles. Have to find some offense. Archie with a beautiful spin move around 2 defenders.
And we've talked about Scott Grayson having 5 points for Old Dominion, all his points in overtime. For Caden Archie, he has done the same thing for Georgia Southern as he pulls them back into within 1.
The Eagles need a stop here. The timeout is called. Georgia Southern down by 1 with a minute and 6 remaining. If you're Coach Berg, what are you telling your team right now?
You have to make sure that you
to play some really aggressive defense.
What you have to do is to not try to play into the contact and get a foul. That can lead to you taking a bad shot. Take great quality shots and be tough.
Georgia Southern defending on the Monarchs. 74-73, a minute left. Jenkins goes around the screen, kicks it out to Scott Grayson. Inside here to Fields. And Jenkins has the matchup he wants with Savrasov guarding up top. He'll drive straight to his left, kick out for three, good. Ben Stanley with a clutch three-pointer. Old Dominion now up 4.
There you talked about Ben Stanley being quiet, but he delivered one of the most needed threes in this game for the Monarchs.
Now Georgia Southern has to go fast now. Caden Archie almost finished it. He's now out on the ground holding his leg. Doesn't look good. Foul's called on the Monarchs, but Caden Archie took a tough. It'll be Finch, Moore, Brown, Strickland on the floor, as well as Savrasov. The first free throw is good. The line drive shot there by Brown.
Now we have to make sure that you make those second free throw. If you don't make the second free throw, you still have a chance to get a stop, but it's going to be tough.
Brown 50% from the season, and he knocks down both. He's now 4 of 4 from the line here today. So Georgia Southern has had some clutch free throw shooting moments here in this game, and now they're going to trap. And that was on Faison Fields. So more free throws, 36.9 remaining. Georgia Southern, they could have played that out. There was enough time. There's 6 seconds between the shot clock and game clock. Instead, decide to go ahead and foul Fields. Do you think that was the right move?
Me personally, as a coach, I may have let them play out those seconds, but you never know. Somebody can miss a free throw, as he is a 55% free throw shooter. Fields is, so let's see.
First free throw is pure. But Georgia Southern did their homework, shooting at 55% from the line. It seems like the smart thing to do to put him up there. A really big free throw here can make it a 2-possession game. Field's second free throw rattles in. So Georgia Southern back down by 4, and you have to go fast. And Old Dominion just going to let Georgia Southern roll the ball all the way up. Strickland will pull up for 3 with confidence, no good. Scott Grayson with the rebound. Eagles finally get the foul off. And that felt like that could have been the game, Cameron. Strickland decided to go up for the three-pointer, no good. And now it's just up for Old Dominion to shoot free throws well.
Old Dominion came in here with a great mentality, and they're 2 free throws away from putting this game away, nearly. And for Georgia Southern, they fought to the end, but Ty Strickland just not able to get that 3 to go. And Makai Long will look to put this game.
So Long able to hit the first of 2. 75-80 now your score. And still 27 seconds left. Anything can happen. 1 of 2 from the line. Caden Archie now up the court. Fakes a three-pointer. Instead, Moore will try. Moore off the front rim. Archie there for the rebound. Archie will throw one up from way deep. No good. And now Old Dominion, finally the Eagles foul. And the chance there, Cameron, for the Eagles. And they had a timeout they could have used as well, but instead decided to let it play out. Do you like that decision?
I don't like that decision. I either would have taken a timeout, because it looks like when Georgia Southern got up the floor, they were clearly rushing to try to get a 3 off, and Old Dominion knew that, which is why they took 2 bad shots, and Old Dominion is going to look to put this game out of reach.
So now Long up at the free throw line. First one missed. Still a 5-point game. Georgia Southern 0 of their last 4 from the field. The second free throw is good, lead by 6. Now 8 seconds remaining. Georgia Southern just has to throw something up. Savrasov finally throws up a 3 from the corner, no good. And that'll be the game. Old Dominion with an 81-75 lead to take the win. Cameron, final thoughts.
Both teams played a great game here this evening. Old Dominion just able to